I want you all to think back to 2013, 2014. What was the number one thing that Sony fans really coveted above all else? If you were a PlayStation 4 owner, what was the thing that you lauded over Microsoft and the Xbox One owners like it was some kind of trophy? What was it? Like, tell me, what was it? Like, for me personally, it was this power narrative, the resolution narrative. It was the things that they had that we didn't have. It clearly wasn't the quote-unquote exclusive games that have all of a sudden become like this highly sought-after thing that if you don't have exclusive games every 2 months or 2 weeks, you're nothing. Like, this is the problem that we've had this entire generation, is the floating narrative that goes A, B, C, B, B, A, C, D, B, E, F. You know what I mean? Like, it just bounces back and forth and back and forth. And it always just depends on what Sony has. Depending on what Sony has as a strength, that's what basically is popular. That's what people talk about. And I think that's kind of nonsense. At the end of the day, Microsoft with the Xbox One X took away the biggest exclusive power that the PlayStation 4 had, and that is the resolution narrative, the power narrative. They've taken those things. Don't get me wrong, exclusives still matter somewhat, although I will say they matter much less nowadays than they have at any other particular point in time that I can remember growing up as a gamer. So with that being said, Microsoft has done a good job of taking that away, and now we see that things flip-flop back to other narratives, right? So Microsoft has done a really good job with that. And not only have they taken the exclusive power and resolution narrative, but they've also actually successfully taken a lot of exclusives from Sony based on now having an easier platform to develop for. So they've taken a lot of these quote-unquote exclusives. When you hear exclusive, that doesn't necessarily just mean games. It can mean anything that was exclusive to PlayStation and that helped PlayStation along the way. Even indies, right? Indies were the darling to start this generation, right? Like, if you were an indie developer, all you did was talk about PlayStation and how great they were and how amazing they were. And now we see that's switched. And not only that, but Microsoft has managed to get themselves quite a good stable of indies. And I'm not the biggest indie fan, but they've actually had some very, very good ones. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with what they've done. I'm impressed with what they've actually been able to accomplish. But more importantly, Microsoft has again taken an exclusive thing that was basically a Sony thing and turned it into more of a Microsoft thing. I would say that probably Microsoft has maybe even more exclusives in terms of indies and things like that are working on them. But at the end of the day, the ID and Xbox stuff, that's great. Sony, they seem to have gotten away from that, and nobody really seems to call them out. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with what Microsoft is doing. They're able to turn the tides, able to kind of turn the narrative by taking away those exclusive bits that the PlayStation 4 had. If you look back, man, it was just 1080p. That was it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was just talking about 1080p and how great it was, and if you didn't have 1080p, you were garbage. And that's just a bad way to think about things. That's a bad way to be a gamer too. I mean, for me personally, I just like the whole resolution nonsense just because it's fun to kind of throw back in people's faces. It's not really something that I particularly care about, but it is funny to see people literally flip out about it and freak out about it. So as far as I'm concerned, Microsoft, they've done a really good job at getting things together. I would like to see them continue to take things away that were Sony's strengths and make them Xbox strengths. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Do you guys feel that that is definitely something that, Microsoft has gone about taking away from Sony, these exclusive things that they had, the indies, the easier to develop for platform, the power, the resolution, these things, and how important do you think these things are to other gamers or to yourself? Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.